stars, let the night unwind. Secrets to soothe your heart and mind. Night, night with Phee, where advice flows like the sea. Catch the rhythm, catch the glow, let the big band steal the show. Night, night with Phee, it's where you're meant to be. From tangled hearts to life's wild maze, she'll charm your soul in subtle ways. A little laughter, a little balm, her words like waves, steady calm.
Welcome to another Night with Phee, right here on the Phee Smee Network. I do appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Topics tonight include the Islamic Republican Guard, the Prince of this world, Jesus is coming, and the two-state, 7-year temporary peace plan. Right here, right now, on Night with Phee. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Hit that follow button, share us, like us. But before we get into those topics, we will get into the riddles of theology. That's right. Theology is relationship skills, business deals, sports drills, now under the umbrella of regenerative medicine, since I was diagnosed terminally ill in 2022, and biblical prophecy, because I had a vision from my Lord to give you understanding and to coach you during these difficult times on June the 24th, 2023. So here we are tonight, rocking and rolling. Had my second marker, enjoying life, know exactly where we are, what we've got to do. I can coach you as you can go back and see all of the documentation that we've had. I would strongly suggest that you go back and watch the Iran 9 months ago. So that there's a nice quick short on that already out on some of our platforms. But we will go into the riddles of theology right now. Two fathers and two sons are in a car, yet there are only three people in the car. Two fathers and two sons are in a car, yet there are only three people in the car. How is that possible? Two fathers, two sons in a car. Yet there are only three people in the car. How is that possible? The correct answer would be the grandfather, the father, and the son. So you have two fathers and two sons in a car, which represent three people, the grandfather, the father, and the son. Thank you guys for tuning in to the riddles of theology tonight. Is second riddle now. Why is a bullet like a tender glance? Why is a bullet like a tender glance? Because it pierces hearts. Ooh, I thought you guys would like that tonight on the riddles of theology. Why is a bullet like a tender glance? Because it pierces hearts. Last riddle of theology for the night. Spelled forwards, I'm what you do every day. Spelled backwards, I'm something you hate. What am I? Spelled forwards, I'm what you do every day. Spelled backward, I'm something you hate. Not so sure everybody hates it, but you should. Spelled forwards, I'm what you do every day. Spelled backward, I'm something you hate. What am I? The correct answer would be live, L-I-V-E. Spelled backwards is E-V-I-L. Live and evil. Spelled forwards, I'm what you do every day. Live. Spelled backward, I'm something you hate. Evil. Thank you guys for playing the riddles of theology. Well, we'll get into this first topic tonight on Iran, as you are now entered the Sixth Trumpet War. We do not know how long that war is going to last, but you're at Revelations now. You do know in Matthew 24 My Lord says that you will see things that have never been on this earth before, nor shall ever be again. And so this is going to go into a regional conflict in the Middle East. And you've only had one now terrorist attack on your country in Austin, Texas. Remember, I told you would have between 150 and 1,500. I'm here to coach. I have a game plan. They have a game plan on all different networks, on all different what they're trying to shift the narrative. Talk to you for 9 months about coaching with a game plan. We have a game plan. We'll stay ahead of the curve. Tonight on Fox, you see from the whole show what a lineup they had tonight. What it was almost they had read my notes. The difference is I wrote my notes the day after the State of the Union address. Everything that they were talking about tonight, I already knew because they were going to tell you that Barack Obama gave $150 billion to the same people we're fighting against right now. Check the tapes. I've been talking about that since I came on the air. Barack Obama, just like all of your other presidents besides President Trump, which was anointed for this time, the Bushes, Republicans, they're globalist. Obama, Democrat, globalist. Clintons, both of them. Secretary of State, could have been the president in 2016, and Bill Clinton, globalist. Elite organizations. Joe Biden, globalist. Kamala Harris, globalist. They're on all parties. They're in everywhere. They're the vending machines I've talked to you about for 9 months. Choose. Conservative, Republican, we got them. We got you. Got them all. You ought to see them tonight. Lined them up. Had the Prime Minister of Israel on there. Had the Democrat congressman on there. Just saying the same thing that Americans should be loving to hear. We will support our country. These people were said death to America for 40, 50 years, 42 years. I come on here and I tell you, they're saying death to America. They're trying to, your President Trump said, we're not going to enter a war. We're going to solve wars. I said he has good intentions. But now is the time. He is on the aggressive right now. He understands what's in our country right now. On NMS now, what you have is people out and protesting in the streets about all of these detention centers coming to their towns, talking about ICE and prison camps. There's your narrative. Gavin Newsom coming on saying we're in a war for no reason. There's no nuclear weapons over there. They've lied to you. This is a made-up war that's costing Americans lives. There's their narrative. Laura Ingalls, brilliant, comes out and says what Fee's been talking about for 9 months. China is the key. Go back and look at the Venezuela. I've been coaching you this whole time. They said they were going in for narco-terrorists. They said they were going in for oil. They said they're going in for both of those, but there's a reason why, and it's called Russia and China. You've got all kinds of things that you are seeing unveiled now that if you watch these tapes, you'll see I was telling you for 9 months. Now I'm fixing to start telling you what's going to happen now. As we just got an overdraft from the Bible, straight out of the Word of God. You're at the time right now that Jesus says nations will rise against nations and kingdoms against kingdoms. And in that same chapter, he says to you that tribulation will be so bad, that the world has never seen it, nor shall it ever again. And I walked right through it. I'm not delusional. I'm a coach. In 58 and a half years, nobody would have been talking about this, and I'd be in regenerative medicine from a healing power that my Lord gave us instead of all this stuff you can't see, which, by the way, I've been knowing about for a long, long time. You didn't get texting till 2005, and I was telling them how to do it in 1990. You'll see a whole lot of things that are going on. But I can assure you, I'm coaching the winning team. And the time that you're playing in, you didn't ask to be in this time. It's a painful joy. It's the greatest time on the earth because All of God's children that are his children will come to him in the greatest revival. But it's also the greatest death. And people say God is love. And they say, well, you forgot about his judgments. The time that Noah's door was shut and it rained. And what happened? 120 years he warned you. I'm going to be talking to you about it every day. And as you see it, sooner or later, it's going to be boom. It's going to be all over the place, and we're going to be prepared. Read an article last week, said 9 out of 10, 90% of America will be gone in 1 year. Not going to be us. That's 30 million people. There's 300 million here. The Republicans talk about, which I've said for 9 months, we won the popular vote. Well, nobody expected him to win the popular vote. He had to win so much. Our president had to win by so much they couldn't steal it because they're embedded in everything that you obviously are too busy to understand. I just happened to have been terminally ill, trying to, fixing to die. Next thing you know, I'm on the adventure of my life. I'm having the best time of my life. Well, you just want this to happen. No, I know it's going to happen, but I have the understanding and the responsibility to help as many people as I can, no matter what they do or what they say. That's my goal. That's my objective from my Lord. That's it. And we're playing in a game, the game of your life. And you weren't asked, you didn't say, sign me up for this, the end of the book. Every generation has some problems. Yours has not been technical. You lived in a technical age. Hiya. You're living in a technical age. That's all you've ever known. If you're 20 years old, then you've never lived a life without texting. If you're 50 years old, you've never lived a life without color television or computers. If you're 70 years old or more, you remember the World War II and the industrialized revolution where people came off the farms, took jobs in factories for a better life. That's what they sold you. It's always a goal. And the United Nations have been around since World War II. And their goals are stated by them. You put them in a room, they tell you exactly what they're doing to you. They show you. And on my very first podcast, I told you, we're going to be fighting with some people, and then we're going to turn around and fight against the whole world, except us in Israel. The same people. And instead of us trying to sensationalize it, which is what people say, or that I'm an alarmist, again, people that know me know I'm not. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've always known for robes all my life. So I used to have some nice ones. I'll have some nice ones again, but I like the color with the set. So thank you so much. It's an easy concept when you start looking at what they're doing. Once you know, it's right in front of you with these vaccinations. Who would have known it? You trust people. These are the folks that you trust in every section. Where you get your news is who you like. They play to that base. They play to their base. Some Democrats, some Republicans, some whites, some blacks. They just play it all. And in the end, it's a holy world. It's a holy war. And you're going through it right now. It's the green spirit. It's the Islamic jihad movement. It's one of the 4 spirits on the earth when my Lord comes back. It's not a pale, because they can't figure out, the Greek word for chloris. It's not pale, it's green. And they are rising in your country. New York, Michigan, Minnesota, invaded Dallas, West Coast, East Coast, outpopulating you 6-1. They're here. China plays the long game. They've been here for 30 and 40 and 50 years, embedded in your infrastructure. Own more farmland. Them and Bill Gates, you're a vaccination guy that's fled the country. Wonder why. Bad press, I guess. Leonardo DiCaprio hiding from the press. Ellen DeGeneres, boy, she's been accused of crazy things. You might want to go back and check some of Fee's episodes, what some of these folks, all of these folks, are doing. But let's go, since we need some credibility, and I'm trying to coach you. I'm trying to win you over. Remember, coaching, I'm gonna have an attitude someday that really motivates you. You got to be a good coach by being a good teacher. You got to be able to be a good communicator. You got to be a good motivator. You've got to instill confidence in your players. And you've got to practice at game speed. And we're getting up to game speed. But motivators, sometimes you've got to get your attention. Hey, bring me some energy and effort. Pay attention. You've got some responsibility. I'm telling you what's going on, and you continue to see it, and nobody's watching. Right out in front of you. Sooner or later, you'll find out that this is going to systematically happen because it's out of the Word of God. It has nothing to do with me. I didn't choose to have the vision. I'm thankful I did, and I have a responsibility. You didn't choose to live in this age, but you did. This is your time right now to shine, your time to play, your time to prepare and get ready no matter how old you are or how young you are. But you can see it all around you. They come out, China is the big loser. Why? When they went in Venezuela, what'd I tell you? They have ghost shadow fleets. Venezuela and Iran supply China. China's a great country with smart people, but they are located in a spot. It took them years to get the Chinese belt, and now they're being disrupted. But 80% of the oil, I told you then, is coming from Iran at cheap, deep prices. And now they're reporting it. And that's why you go to Venezuela, and that's why you're not hearing about Cuba. You're not hearing about the lady that for 2.5 weeks, the whole side of the country was fascinated with. Wonder what they were doing. You don't hear anything about Venezuela anymore. Those folks just get a government regime change over here and go back to work. You didn't hear about that 100-car crash in Minnesota? What's happened to all these riots in Minnesota, or the 100-car pileup in Michigan, or the 28 folks that were evaporated a year ago in Tennessee, or your president, Barack Obama, saying that there are aliens, and your President Trump stating that he was going to release the classified files on aliens, and you had 3 hours of coverage on that? Seems like big news to me. Just glossed right over that, didn't we? The narratives, I've talked to you about them now for 9 months. I know the narratives and where they're taking you. So this is from the Free Press, I believe. We'll give credit where credit is due. Barack Obama sent Iran $1.7 billion. Told you about had an episode about it. $1.7 billion in cash, pallets of unmarked bills flown secretly at night straight to the Ayatollah's regime, world's top state sponsor of terrorism. He funded our enemies. Go check the tape and say he will go down as the worst president in the history of the world because he gave folks that hated you and was chanting death to you, he funded them on purpose. And I'm an alarmist. I'm a coach. This is the game plan. From the Free Press, the Iran strike is all about China. Well, let's talk from a business standpoint. Remember business deals right here on Theology? Let's talk, investment business, let's talk right here. Chinese firewalls, all kinds of piggyback restrictions, all these SEC terms that, Fee's aware of all of them. Start with oil because oil is where the entire relationship begins. China buys more than 80% of Iran's crude oil exports at steep discounts. What do you think that does to China if they have had 10% of their energy eliminated from Venezuela and 80 from Iran. 90% with how many billion people they got over there? All right. Sounds like to me that I thought they was really advanced over there. Yeah, they must be buying a whole lot of oil too. See how that you're never getting off the crude oil, or you'd have been off of it in the 1960s. It's that simple. China buys more than 80% of Iran's crude oil exports at steep discounts. The shipment travels on a ghost fleet of tankers that switch off their transponders and relabel their cargo as Malaysian or Indonesian to circumvent American sanctions. Remember how Phee told you about all these word spells that you guys don't know about? How if every freight's taken by ship, they call it a cargo. But if every freight's taken by land, whether it's rail or whether it's truck, they call it a shipment. There you go. You're driving on parkways and you're parking in driveways. There you go. Again, the shipments travel on a ghost fleet of tankers that switch off their transponders and relabel their cargo as Malaysian or Indonesian to circumvent American sanctions. Since 2021, the cumulative value of these purchases has exceeded $140 billion. This makes China the main reason the Islamic Republic has not gone bankrupt. Why, they're celebrating in the streets on Fox with videos showing. MS Now is showing videos of them chanting and holding up signs about ICE doesn't come here with detention centers and prison camps. Same night, same time. There's your division. There's your division. Since 2021, the cumulative value of these purchases have exceeded $140 billion. This makes China the main reason the Islamic Republic has not gone bankrupt. Now, this is very important from an economic standpoint. In 2021, the 25-year comprehensive strategic partnership committed China to invest an estimated $400 billion across Iran's energy, banking, telecommunications, and infrastructure sectors, formalizing a relationship that was already underway. Now, if you'll check the strategic strikes of America so far, it includes, and shall it not be limited to, energy, banking, telecommunications, and infrastructure, as well as targeting the top 40 of your Iranian Islamic Republican Guards leadership. Pretty awesome. When I tell you that you got two of the best intelligence agents in the world working together, it's with this modern technology of science and math. Oh, it's just you just don't know where you are in the book. You need to get back to you watched the whole. Hopefully, you've watched some movies like the Escape from New York or Chain Reaction, or you've seen some more. The War, Minority Report would be a good one for you guys to watch. Eraser, there's your 1990s electromagnetic guns. That's directed energy now, which is why you're having all these vibrations with these earthquakes. See, say it out loud. It just doesn't make sense until it does, because you sound like a nut. But if you add 400 billion and you take away China's energy, because I'm not through, it gets worse. Remember what I told you about what we're going to be doing and fighting in the end? Well, it's coming. It's just a part of the process. You're just 3 days old, and they had Senator Graham, the Prime Minister of Israel. You had Brett Barr saying that we were standing against that Melania Trump was going to was at the United Nations Security Council meeting, the first lady that has spoken on behalf of the United States, and he said it. Nobody will catch it, but he said, in the world's most powerful organization. That's his words. right there on Fox. It's like printing the show out. It was amazing. 400 billion against Iran's energy, banking, telecommunications, and infrastructure sectors, formalizing a relationship that was already underway. China and Iran, that axis of evil. Oh, yeah, they're coming. They're coming. The deeper this integration runs, the less leverage anyone else has over Tehran, and the more leverage Beijing accumulates. 25 years, and our president aggressively went in there and wiped out about, sounds like to me, about 400 billion. Some, I think 11 of their ships. I wonder what those ships cost these days. They got just so much money until you take away that oil. But you're still not going to take away that religion. They're a formidable opponent when they think they're going to be rewarded. And they've recruited so well all throughout the United States and all throughout the world, Canada, Mexico, Europe, Africa especially. They've got a plan, and you don't know your plan. You don't even know what part of the book. You're not looking for Jesus to come back because you've been told that all your life, and half of you don't even think you're going to be here. You're going to be, raptured out of here. So now you're going to have to adjust as we continue to go through a world war that kills a third of mankind. So, and we've got time right now to prepare. Right now, you got to deal with the terrorist attacks, how quickly they come, and how much this division inside the United States, how long it takes. And all I know, I've told you, and I'm going to continue to tell you that you're not going to have elections in 2028 because you'll be at war. So whether you're at war now and how quickly it comes from now to then will be when they want it to. Remember, war is the greatest business in the world. There is no, you can't make more money in anything, including AI, than you can war. That's where you are. Which, China just plays the long game. Well, let's go to the Wall Street Journal. Let's give credit. This is Sam Schestner, Beatrice Bonneau, and Naomi Bisserby from the Wall Street Journal. France floats nuclear deployment across Europe. Now remember that Europe, that France, and that's the hens. You remember that Germany? That's the leopard. Remember the UK? That's the lion. Remember those folks? Then you got 10 horns. The European Union, the revised the Holy Roman Empire, revised in 2009 with the Lisbon Treaty. All of these things ringing a bell to you now? Because from coaching, I'm going to have to continue to challenge you to remember what I'm saying, and then we'll have to act. Once you believe, once you continue to see, you'll continue to believe, then we have to prepare. So how long before they start doing anything in the United States, you'll start seeing whatever day they want to make it. But I've told you now for 9 months, between 150 and 1,500 separate terror and cyber attacks on your country. You're at number one right now. You want to go back to last year's New Year's Eve? I'll give you those 3 or 4. So let's say that we've had 10 isolated cyber, and including plane wrecks and ships blowing, going into bridges. Find out what that waterway was, and what travels underneath there, and what deep water port is close to there, and how they're going to have to rearrange that for several years. I think they've estimated 7 years before that bridge is reopened. Okay. If they did that about 4 or 5 different places in the United States, I don't think you realize what locking dam and waterways means. And then if you go into some natural disasters with vibrations that they can do with these earthquakes and with what they can shoot in the air, they can, the weather manipulation with the science and math, they've been doing it for years. I've been gone, way gone, from anything like that. Just never entered my mind. But from a math and science standpoint, it makes perfect sense. You can do anything, just like you make electricity without having a grid. It's been around a long time. We're going to show you how to do that. Remember, everything goes back around. But now we're at the Wall Street Journal, and France, for some reason, floats nuclear deployment. I don't know if you know what the word deployment means, but he aims to ship them someplace. Okay? Remember, the United Nations has been wanting a nuclear presence for there to be able to arm themselves. Been fighting for years. They'll have it, and that's who we'll be fighting in the end. And they're positioning themselves now with this world war to get right where they want to be. So listen and pay attention, because this is Emmanuel Macron, which folks spend years saying he's going to be the Antichrist. I do not care. It does not affect me one bit. I'll know when he stands in that rebuilt temple and it hadn't started being built. They say it will be. We'll see. I know it will be. Here we go. French President Emmanuel Macron said Monday that France is working with 8 European countries, including Germany and the UK, the Netherlands, and Poland, as part of a forward deterrence strategy that could see allies join France's nuclear exercises. Now, you do know that France owns they're the fourth largest country for their nukes. So you've got the top three: China, United States, and Russia. Then France, right over there in Europe, number four. Number four. They're going to try to get on the offensive here to deter anybody else from doing these type things. We're going to spread these nukes out across many countries. Sounds like to me. Just run some exercises. Get in some plays, some reps. Then talks with Macron also said to include Denmark, Sweden, Belgium, and Greece. Could also lead to allies supporting France's nuclear arsenal with their conventional forces, and to France temporarily deploying its nuclear-armed jet fighters to Allied territories. Interesting. Melania Trump spoke at the United Nations Security Council, and Brett Beer was on Fox, and he said that she would speak before the world's most powerful organization. And I believe he recognized the UN as the world's governing body. See, there's the United Nations. I wonder in 2023 how many people even knew what the United Nations were, if they existed. Just like they didn't know what AI was before 2022. 4 years ago, now everybody knows what AI is. Think about kids will never have been a baby that will not grow up in this time. Think about it. They've missed proms because of COVID. They've been serious vaccinated like you wouldn't believe. Between every side, it just got the math and science to the point where they just took it for evil and did it. Now we're paying a price for it, and we're right in the middle of the game. We're way behind. Like I've told you many times, we're going to be losing all the way up to the end, but we're going to be gaining strength and momentum, because you're looking at now people are recognizing a rivalry, the United States against the United Nations. And if it wasn't for President Trump anointed, you'd be in the United Nations, which is the beast system. Again, where are you in the book? Never before have they had the technology they need, digital IDs, marks. Do you know how hard it was when the barcode? You try to show people how to do a barcode, and it takes them 12 to 14 years, and now it's been a barcode for 40 years. I wasn't even 17. Perpetual motion energy technology in the 8th grade. Now I'm going to show you series after series. Been doing it. You can do it all day long. Just that's far behind. But the whole key is communications. The whole key is what you see, what you're exposed to. Never before have generations seen this type of exposure. And when you give the law of large numbers so much to choose from, you're going to have a certain segment in each one. And what's vile and terrible, and I've seen things that you never want to see, compared to where you would think, oh, that's really, really bad. And then there's other people who think, well, that's all right. And you'd have some people say, nah, that's not for me, but I understand. I'd let them do it. You got to say, I don't judge. You got folks saying, that is the hottest thing I've ever seen. Folks say, man, that's what I'm going to do. That's my kink. That's the spectrum you got. You got 300 million in the United States, 300 million people, and you brag about winning the popular vote. You got 120 million people that didn't vote. What team do you think they're on? They're on their team. I spent 3 days living with these homeless, moving from camp to camp, as well as going into 7 different states in 7 days. Told you, been arrested or detained in 5 of those different states, taken by ambulance to 2 different hospitals in 2 different states. All in this span period of time with no money, no debit card, no credit card, homeless. I went slaying dragons and stomping on cobras. I had cobra boots on and I had a golf club. And I was slaying dragons and stomping on cobras. It was a wonderful time. And it was 2 years and 4 months since I got what I got at that State of the Union address. We're ready to go. There is no more guessing around with how we're going to get this on, how we're going to get this platform done, how we're going to get this money done, and by the time to help people. I don't know the time frame. Well, now I know. We've got time right now before it comes to a head. There's going to be all kinds of problems. But in the meantime, some of this stuff can go away for months. Do you know that they can just not be showing about the war tomorrow and start talking about terrorist attacks again or the Epstein files? They got you anywhere they want to go. Whatever you're focused in on, what you believe in. That's all in the world. And who's the prince of this world? Satan. Who comes to deceive the whole world? Satan. Well, what are we in? The world. And what do we do? It's who we are. It's our game film. We watch entertainment. We gather information on other people's lives, looking in a black mirror, watching a screen, listening to a frequency. When that's just the time period we lived in, and they shifted the culture, and now you're in the middle of it. And we've got to get back to farming with high-tech math and science, because they've never seen nuclear war. I've seen it. Jesus says, like this world has never seen before or ever will again. There's where you're living. So let's gear up for that. When they start talking today again, that just was my show. Well, you got some people going into bunkers, underground bunkers now. Retired colonels. And the other side's got the guy going, what are we going to war for? There's no nuclear weapons over there. We've been lied to for the 5th time. They always do this. It's a distraction from the Epstein files. It's funny to me because I just never was in it. Do you know that when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I didn't know who he was, much less who Turning Point was. My kids were hurt, texting, did you hear about Charlie Kirk? I'm thinking, who's Charlie Kirk? That's how far. You think I'm playing an arena that I'm well-versed in. I'm well-versed in everything but an arena that I'm playing in. Biblical prophecy. My Lord made me for this. I'm in the world my whole life. I know that everything that these folks try to do, want to do, I've seen them do it to me. With the SEC and with the FCC. Now it's the FDA. And it's the United Nations. And just like when I would go into other gyms and everybody would be pulling against me, I love that. I taunted that. I fed on that. And that's what we're going to continue to do here. And I'm going to continue to feed on it. Because I'm representing my Lord Jesus Christ. He's the winner. He's coming back in your lifetime. But you're of this world. Well, what do you mean I idolize this world? Well, okay, from a coaching standpoint, 1 out of 8 verses in the New Testament is about money. What do you revolve your life around? I don't love money. Okay, I know you don't, but you go to work for money, don't you? Or you just are volunteering. And you bought a house that you have a mortgage, that if you look at that word spell, it's a death pledge. I'm not telling you I didn't do any of it or everything. I'm telling you I had a vision that rocked my world, and I'm not delusional. I'm coaching. These people are everywhere. They're right out in the middle of everything, showing you before they do it. Be able to laugh at you. And they're doing it right now. And I'm doing it right now because we're here to help. We're on the opposite side. We're going to try to remove ourselves as much as we can from the world, as long as we can get paid, make some money, because although we don't love money, nobody loves money, but guess what? Everybody sure does revolve around it. What about entertainment? Let's go all the way and commercialize youth sports. I was right on the middle of it. That was 20 years ago. There's no kids anymore. Church league ball and all city all-star teams. These are travel folks all over. Some playing for 4 teams in one weekend. I've got the best students around. I have some of them play throughout the years. My youngest daughter, which could have played D1 sports in 3 different sports at Power 5 level, and didn't even play her senior year in any of them. But I'd get 6 calls a weekend. Oklahoma, Kansas, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas. You get in that pipeline, you go to those tournaments, so the coaches see her. We're going to a showcase tournament. They got all the perfect names. They got the great names. It used to be something you played in a World Series. There was, 16 people across the country. You went to Disney World and you played. And when you won the World Series, you won the World Series. There's a World Series. There's 4 of them in every state now. Okay, that's commercialization of children's sports. And they took college sports, and whoever's got the best sports, they make the most money academically. They get the most funding. So they hired a coach. Everybody complains he's making $8 million, and he's worth $80 million to the school. They don't have a losing formula. I'm trying to coach you in economics and business. I'm trying to teach you this because that's what you're living in your life. That's the game you're living in right now. The prince of this world has everybody deceived, including me. But I'm coaching for the right team, for the right reasons. There's nothing radical about what you believe. Well, if you go to church, you've heard about Jesus. Yeah, I've heard about Jesus. Well, if you believe in Jesus, then you would believe that he came as a man and died on the cross for all past, present, future sins. And because of what he did on that cross, if you accept him and you're born again by the water and the Spirit, you're saved. Yeah, I believe that. And then you get into, well, now, it's been a long time since Jesus died on the cross and was ascended to heaven. And what's happened since then? Well, you've had the Roman Empire, very legalistic. All your other denominations came out right out of that, so now you're complaining about the Catholics. They're teaching the wrong message in the United States compared to what they are in the world. 98% of American Catholics don't agree with what Vatican II has anything, or its bylaws, or what the popes are saying, but that's not the message they're hearing at their churches, and they're very devout. And the key with that is all of your denominations came out of them. So they're organized religion. That's why they're the white horse. And all the other ones, you're right with them. The first church is Jews and Gentiles. The last one's Jews and Gentiles. And when the Gentiles are in, and they're about to be in, you fix to see some death and destruction. They're going to be coming right in, the ones that live. Because nuclear waste comes and radiation comes, see? Never before or ever will again. There's your time. This ain't, let's blow something up and then go in and make some money and redevelop. That's a different bomb. By the fire, by the smoke, by the brimstone. With John, scorpions shooting tail fire, their powers out of their tail and their mouths. It does hurt. 1/3. Those angels have been loosed out of the great river Euphrates, which is Iraq, Iran, which had happened right out of Iran, which I told you 9 months was going to happen. With this situation, the 6 trumpet wars now, You're going to have a lot of prophets teach, well, he can't know that. We don't know that. Now, there's a possibility of that. Okay. You've been doing it for 30 years. I hadn't been doing it. You got to stick to your plan. We're all on the same team. I can assure you that. If you're going by the basic instructions before leaving Earth, because my vision is 100% tied, it's 100%. Just because you don't know what time of period you're believing in, you don't believe it. You read it all the time. Do you believe in Jesus? Well, I've heard of him. Well, now, have you accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior? Yeah. Do you live that way? Sure. I go to church every weekend. I discipline my kids. I make a good living. I don't commit adultery. I don't lie or cheat. I'm as good as can be. I'm washed by the blood of Jesus, and if I mess up and have a bad thought, I'm good. That's one end of the spectrum. But if he doesn't believe he's going to be here, how much more is he deceived when he's playing in the stock market but betting against the casinos? You can dress it up however you want to. I like math and science. You can race turtles if you want to. You can play cards. You can call it dominoes. You can have bingo. See, all of it's world. It's all good causes. All of you make it look good with this narrative. Make it look bad with this narrative. That's the world you live in. It touches everything. Your money, your religious beliefs. With so much religion, just indoctrinated in you from books and books and books. Read the one that matters. Well, it's not all there. It's the 66 canon. It's inspired by my Lord that he would give you at this time. There's other ones out there. I'm telling you right now, if they can't get from pale to green, you're going to have a little minor mistakes from translation to translation, much less intended to add to or subtract from. Deception. The Word of God is truth before the temptation. He knew the mistakes they was going to make. He allowed folks to see the mistakes. Because in the end, the fourth spirit, it's the green horse. It didn't care what they had in 1122. Didn't matter then. It matters now. Again, prophecy comes true. What I tell you comes true 5.5 months before, 18 months before, now another 9 months before. Now you're into the sixth trumpet war that kills a third of mankind. Well, it just goes away. I hadn't heard about it, man. I think they wrap that war up pretty quick. Yeah, good. Or, man, these terrorists, about every 2 or 3 weeks, you start hearing about this plane crash, or these folks, went into some place and some deli or cafe and blew up 50 people, 35 people. Same thing you've been hearing in the Middle East. That's the way it starts. And as soon as the attention comes and the narrative starts, what was it on tonight on your speaking of sleeper cells in our country, we'll go to the intelligence director of, that was one of your segments tonight. Did you see the high alert? And the lady says, well, the United States have been on high alert since 9/11. There's the narrative. No big deal. You're on high alert for terrorism right now. When they show the guy where it says the property of Allah, the Ayatollah, and then he pulls up his shirt and they show the blood there with the Iranian Republican Guard. It's wrapped up. There it is. There's a narrative. On the other channels, completely different narrative. What do we've lost 6 people in the last 3 days. For what? There's your narrative. All of them shiny, globalist, against the United States. So if you know you're in a fight, if you know you're in playing in a game, if you know what time of the game it is, it's beneficial to you. There's where we are. There's the key. Because the prince of this world, Satan, the deceiver of the whole world, has been doing that. And he's fixing to get real upset because he's going to be not playing in between. You just go back to the movies. What was American President? Two great actor and actresses. It's a phenomenal movie. She's a lobbyist. Why do they make, 50 and $60 million a year in these hedge funds, a 90 and 100 million? And she tells you in the movie, I am paid to tell people what to believe. That's why they greatest lobbyist. You know, tobacco in the country. They suppress the truth, create doubt, give our new studies, have the propaganda of what cigarettes do the most doctors smoke in the United States? Camel. 9 out of 10 doctors in the United States choose Camel over any other cigarette. While you're telling you, hey, these things, they've just made tobacco bad. Tobacco is one of the greatest things in the world. One of the greatest things in the world. It's like honey. Tobacco's in the top 5. Honey's always going to be Fee's number 1. Bees. Let's talk about some nuclear radiation. What does that do to our ecosystem, environment, our soil? What's our bees? How important are bees to us? What do bees do? This guy's really radical, man. He's talking about feeding people after the nuclear war. What is he talking about? Okay. I'm talking about more than that. I'm talking about trying to get some bunkers. Like everybody else is talking about. We just can't spend what they can. So we're developing that. Again, crazy, I know. Feed people. Terrorist attacks. 6 trumpet war. I didn't think those trumpets were all coming out till I was already raptured. Now, again, that's false doctrine. They all going to finish up at the same time. But they all didn't start at the same time. See, again, I hadn't been in this business. My Lord just showed me. And then he gives me, I have to really search, because I'm not, again, difficult. And the last, 2 years and 4 months, those first 2 years they were just unbelievable. And then you start getting down to it's faith time then. See, then I knew this. I thought this was supposed to already happen. And see what I learned. This is post vision. My first reps is now I see the time period, and now I don't care if it's 5 months or if it's 3 years, but it's before 2028. And I think it's going to drift in here anytime, and we'll start anytime, but it's not going to be overwhelming anytime for us to be able to, if we start now, by the time we start, get people's attention, enough getting it attention, then what will happen after that is people more and more, and we'll have time to get it all done before at least 10% of us, that's 30 million people, will at least have a shot to live. He's an alarmist. No, I'm a coach. It's for information and entertainment purposes only. I'm terminally ill. And again, you'll have to decide yourself whether or not I'm on a delusional on an episode, or whether I'm just trying to coach you in all aspects, from business, relationships, going through this time, children, going through this time, knowing, hey, this is what is, I've got to protect my children. This is what they're going to see for the next minimum of 7 years. And I'm going to tell you, it's World War III is liable to last 5. It's liable to be 12, 15 years of nothing but struggle. Nothing. But my Lord, I don't give any times. It's not a time concept for me. I just know. I've seen it. I walk right through it. And like I told you from 9 months ago, you don't want to take that mark. The people that take that mark, that is the first wrath of my Lord right before you're raptured. You're going to see people that took that mark, and you're not going to do it. And you've been telling people for a long, long time how you live for Jesus, and you live for Jesus, and you live for Jesus. And now you're at the end of the book where it says 3 times in Matthew, 1 time in Mark, 1 time in Luke, and 1 time in John, that those that are willing to lose their lives will save it. But those that save their lives will lose it. He's giving you a choice and warning you for this time now that you don't believe. Because yes, I believe Jesus was real. Oh yeah, I believe in Jesus. He died on the cross for me. Yeah, he's coming again. Well, do you believe he's coming again in your lifetime? Oh man, you lost your no. Oh yeah, oh yeah. God, come on, Lord Jesus, come today. Just come on, come get me today, Lord. It's in the Bible. It's in the basic instructions before leaving earth. I can tie everything to it. Every single thing. Jesus says, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not seen the beginning of the world to this time, nor no shall ever be. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." You don't read one chapter in the book, one book in the chapter, read Matthew 24 for this time. He's telling you, you're at the point where it says nations arise against nations. Then you turn over to Revelations 9:13, read those angels are going to be released at a certain time. They were released at a certain time. You saw it. It just happened. How long it festers from a little local to a Middle East to a terrorist to whatever, it's coming. You know it's coming. It ain't going away. We're going to be here 5 or 6 weeks and it's gone. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I sure hope that that's the narrative, because when they tell you that's happening, I'll still be saying the same thing I'm telling you right now and the same thing I was telling you 9 months ago. And I'm going to be coaching you along the way. We got time to get this done. But that's what Jesus said. Except for the elect's sake, you're the elect. You're the predestined, foreknown, made with potter, with his hands. He knows who's going to be there. He knows the end from the beginning. You got to understand, he already knows. He knows your heart. He knows what you've done. He knows what you're going to do, what you're going to think. He will wash you as white as snow. He knows the world you're living in and who the prince of this world is. He's on your side. You're on his team. Man, he's awesome. The Lord of Lords and King of Kings, and we're not treating him like he's anything special. He's something fantasy in the future, because that's what you've believed with this religious culture we've had since 300 AD. It's one church. Read Acts. It's a for everlasting gospel. You have all those gifts, all that power. You have no faith, because it's pagan sanctuaries that have snakes crawl across people, and the snake bites them and they get better. Don't you see the snakes on your American Medical Association? Don't you know those symbols, what they mean? With your doctors wearing your coat with those snakes coming out? Wonder why. Where's the origin of that compared to my Lord with medicine and herbs? We got to get right back to what they've been doing in the Middle East, in the Middle Ages, and in Ethiopia, and in China. China, man, those Himalayas got so much. They can grow so much. Why do you think that is? Outside and inside. Oxygen. If your body's oxygen, I've told my son for years, you can ask him, son, if I could put an oxygen chamber in everybody's house, they would be healthy overnight. Well, now I didn't know they was trying to inject you with stuff on purpose for vaccinations. I have to adjust my thinking now, but I'd still get there. Oxygen. If you can oxygenate that blood, and those Himalayans, man, that Himalayan pink salt, all the nutrients over there, the algae that's over there, all of the dense proteins and minerals that are over there. And we've got them all throughout the United States, but now they're more interested in earth minerals, not for anything other than AI. Not for you. We're going to let them have this world. After it's over, then World War III and 2.8 billion, we're going to be the grassroots folks that come out and preach the word of God, because we're on his side and we're losing. But this is not alarming. Let's grow our own food. That's stupid. Okay, well, what if the grocery store, you go in and there's been a run on some stuff like toilet paper or water, except this time it's meat and potatoes and canned goods. And there's nothing left in there that hadn't spoiled. because you see it all the time all over the world. It's normally after natural disasters where people are rushing to places and riots, and there's nothing on the stores for days and days. Going to, they did a sop with you with this COVID. Just how many pictures did they show you of no food on the shelves? Zero. How many times have they cut out your electricity with winter storms just this year? 600,000 people, electricity went off in cold weather. It came back on. How many people died in that? I don't hear anything. I guess they were 100%. What happens when it doesn't come on back on? Because they're just, every time, when they don't want it, there's 6 substations that they need to hit in the United States and the whole power grid goes down. Oh, that's ridiculous. We've got the top of the top list. Okay. Well, you might want to check. You got the, locking dam systems. I wonder how many folks out there running that. You think that might be done automated? How about a little GPS systems with your nuclear power plants? You think you got a whole team of them out there working on that, don't you? Or you think they're sitting behind a panel looking at lights and gauges and numbers? How do you figure people do their business when folks at the Air National Guard and the military bases, and they say, hey, you see them at the convenience store, you see them at the grocery store, they're wearing the fatigues. You say, hey, thank you for your service. You still serving? Yes, sir. What do you do? I'm a systems communication analyst. Oh, great. Thank you. That's it. I'm a systems communications analyst. You know how many people that they tell that people, I'm a systems communications analyst. Okay. You have no idea what that means. You got to have folks in Kansas flying drones in Greece, killing cartels, and you wouldn't have any idea that there's your special communications analyst playing video games in real life in real time. There's your Mexican cartels and your reason for your Texas El Paso airport being shut down in the last weeks. Wonder what happened to that story. Now it's going to be war on every single channel. Dead weekend with them just showing lights and lights. People just love fires and lights. How many times I tell you in 9 months, these folks are going to love fire. Love it. They love it. This 2-state solution, temporary 7-year peace plan. It's temporary because they're going to give Jerusalem to Israel for 7 years. It's going to allow Palestine to have a state, not a region, but an actual state. It's Judea, Samaria, the Judea area. They call it the West Bank. Has nothing to do with Gaza. They're going to allow Jewish settlers to stay in that. And they're going to sign that United Nations giving that 2-state solution after World War III. And that third temple is going to be built. Those Jewish settlers are going to be there. And the Jewish people are going to start there ushering in their Messiah as they take daily sacrifices to their third temple that's up there with 2 of the top holy sites of the Muslim faith, the Dome of the Rock and the Al Mosque. And the United Nations is going to be up there in a security where people that hate each other religions are sharing a temple mount as they worship. As they're both ushering in their Mahdi, or their Messiah. There's your sides. And in the background, you got a one world beast government, see? So you're deceived. You've got so many different teams. The brackets are pretty much set out. You got the United Nations, and you got that with that one world beast system, and that's all of Europe and all of your banking and finance, and controls your Hollywood and your news outlets. And you've got all of those people. And then you've got a whole different group. So you have to realize that the United States is going to be against the United Nations. And in those negotiations where right now Donald Trump and the Prime Minister Netanyahu say they will never give the West Bank away. Israel's not giving anything. It's scriptural they will, and they will at the end of this war that you're in now that you don't know you're in yet. That's what's going to happen. And when they do, they're going to make concessions. Because remember, where Israel is now and their borders and what my Lord promised Abraham is going to change at that Battle of Armageddon. So we'll see when that does change, or if it waits till Jesus comes back. But my Lord doesn't just promise half of something. He told them all their lives to drive out the heathen, and they didn't, and now they're going to be fighting to the very end. And it's Abraham's, child of Ishmael, which was the firstborn that wasn't from Sarah, and Jacob and Israel in the end. They changed his name. So you got the Holy War. It's a game, and I'm coaching the winning team. But you got to know where you are in the game. And you're getting in the fourth quarter. That's where you were born. That's where you're living. Deception's everywhere. You're deceived by entertainment and information. You're deceived by money and jobs and work and education. You're deceived by everything that you seek and every connection that you want. We've been trained, and I love it. I love the relationships. I love the connections. I love the human spirit. But I don't like the transhumanism. I don't like the half robot. I don't like the isolationism with vaccinations to separate you and then give you sex, give you a companion, to give you everything to make you not have any ambition. All the entertainment and information that you could ever consume, feeling as high as you want to in a state of digital cage. There's your masses. There's your United Nations. And the few that have the aptitude that would clip out of that will go straight up, and other people will cheer and strive for obedience. That's all their goal is. It's a game. Go watch a bunch of old movies. It's crazy. But it's two sides. It's two teams. And you don't remember they give $1 million to the Republican and $1 million to the Democrat. They play every side. See, they're at the very top. That's why they call them the world's elites and the secret societies and all those type things. And then they trickle down to their underlings. And normally their underlings are the people that they can blackmail and in order to do whatever they want to do. And that's movies, that's sets, that's music, that's selling your whatever you need to do in order to get where you want to go. It's your goal. And it's happening for years and years right before our eyes. And I certainly wouldn't be aware of it now if I didn't have the vision I had on June 24th, 2023. But Jesus is coming. He's coming in your lifetime. And we ought to be celebrating and telling people that we've got to get on a team. We've got to get serious. We've got to go out and get young people to get excited about something that's worthwhile. Not propaganda. It's right out of the Word of God. This is going to be a great time. We're going to have to save enough folks by feeding them, getting them food and water, and having all types of food and farm. And if it doesn't happen, hey, we just got to get some better food and vegetables. Don't have certain pesticides that are spraying in the atmosphere. I think that's what we ought to be looking for. If we can get some government assistance on guaranteeing that they wouldn't be spraying stuff over our crops, I think we'd do real well in our communities. And I think we'd work together well, especially with the churches. So we're going to grassroots movement of that. But Jesus is coming back. People believe in the church that there's a Jesus, and there's a lot of people that say that they believe in Jesus as their Lord and Savior. But nobody believes that He's coming back soon. Or you're radical, or you're giving dates. Jesus isn't coming back till all these prophecies are fulfilled. It's not about me. Read the Word of God. You've got some responsibility. I'm going to coach you through it. But all this other religious stuff, all you got to do is just strip it away and read it. You're in the time in Revelations where it says, and in Matthew 24, where it says nations will rise against nations and kingdoms will rise against kingdoms. There you go. That's a world war. It starts as a regional conflict, and it starts as a conflict out of the Euphrates River, Iraq, Iran, Syria, Turkey, and it just did. And no matter what they tell you and how quick it's going to go away, it's going to fester, and you're going to have some cyber and you're going to have some terrorist attacks. That's not an alarmist. That's a tornado drill. That's a fire drill. Just in case. Let's prepare. That's all it is. I appreciate you guys tuning in to Night Night with Phee tonight. Hit that share button, like us, love us. We do appreciate you. And remember, no matter what you're doing, you're missing something. So let's make what we're doing worth what we're missing. And Night Night said the cricket, Night Night said the whale. Night night crazy boy, night night crazy girl, only time will tell. Only time will tell, guys. God bless you. Night night.
Feel the breeze, night night with thee, just you and me. Life untangled, love set free. Close your eyes, feel the